It's interesting the fact that this guy's had implants placed, 2 of them in the maxillary arch. So the upper arch, he's got 2 implants. They're well integrated, but they've never been restored. So we're gonna take a look at that real quick. We start every case analyzing the photos, taking a look at the scans. So the pre-op scans right here are in this light color. So you got a lot of broken teeth, decay, broken off root tips, and then we do what's called a diagnostic wax-up or a digital hybrid pre-design. And so that's right here. And we want to kind of look, hey, where do we want to put the incisal edge position? Where's the current position at rest? In this case, he's got those 2 implants, and he's like, I think it's just going to be easier. I don't know the implant parts done somewhere else. I don't know how many years ago. We might have problems finding the parts for him. I said, you know, if we can use them, because it's a maxillary arch, the implants are long, they're in good bone, minimal, if any, recession at all. And I said, why don't we try to find the implant parts for these? And so Pano, PA, took some cross-sectional measurements, found out, yeah, we can get parts. It was either like Zimmer or BioHorizons. We ordered based on my recommendations. I said, let's get a 1 millimeter straight platform, multi-unit abutment. I chose that based off these records here, and that, hey, I've got this healing cap right here, I can see that. And so I'm taking a cross-sectional measurement of that healing cap. And he's like, are we gonna have enough room to restore the case if we keep those implants? And fortunately, when the implants were placed, probably no grafting was done. So he's already had some ridge resorption. So the implants are far enough apical that we don't have to remove them. We don't have to plan for like an FP1 style of case. We can actually do more of an FP3 hybrid design. So we've got this pre-design overlaid, and I'm taking these, what I call a cut view cross-sectional measurement. And I come in here and go, hey, from the healing cap alone to the proposed position, we have 11.486 millimeters of room. If the healing cap, let's say, is 3 millimeters, I think I've got enough reduction where we can have a prosthesis that'll be strong enough, 12 millimeters in height, that we can use these implants rather than cause such damage. You know, when you're removing an implant that is in bone, those implants are stable. And so I would rather choose to load those 2 implants and add 3 or 4 existing implants around that than create that destruction of the bone trying to remove those. So now I had the pre-design, so he gets the parts in, places the MUAs, torques those in, and then he scans those with a multi-unit scan body. And so I take the new scan and I overlay that. Here's my scan abutments right here. He used a DES 52.007 scan body. And now I basically take my hybrid pre-design and I design a restoration, essentially virtually extracting the remaining teeth and creating this flat hybrid, as you can see here, engaging into 2 implants, into 2 multi-units. We have surgery coming in a couple weeks. Rather than create this denture for the upper and then have to pick up all the implants at once, now I've got a stable foundation. 2 screws will engage, and we can index and place 3, 4 more implants and then pick these up. The reason why we're doing it this way is because the oral surgeon and the general dentist don't have any 3D printing technology. They don't have a photogrammetry unit. So this is a quick and convenient way, a little bit of mix of digital and analog in an immediate load process. The upper teeth are gonna come out, bone reduction is gonna happen. We're basically gonna have him level off that bone to the height of the existing platforms of the current implants. So when everything's level here, as you can picture these teeth coming out, leveling off, placing a couple more implants in the anterior, maybe 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a 4th implant right over the molar section. So the uppers will get immediate loaded, and then the lower denture, basically all the lower teeth are gonna come out, some bone reduction, and then we'll use probably a smart denture conversion process. And then we'll do a conversion here, but now we've got 2 of the same materials, both 3D printed Onyx Tough 2 resin, that'll be immediate loaded in a couple weeks. Another thing that we get a request for is like, hey, can you make me some kind of reduction guide? Yes, we can. We can also make a 3D printed denture template. So we've got a trough here, and that basically will go in, and now you can visualize, hey, I've got my implants here, but maybe I need to bring back the correction of the implant with a 17-degree multi-unit. So this allows, for that MUA selection, and it can also serve, the upper at least, can serve as a reduction guide. So there's a couple things that, you got to pay attention to is use existing teeth as a reference point in terms of reduction, so take a measurement. We always provide the CAD file if you have ExoCAD. You can download that or the HTML viewer. But we can take a cross-sectional measurement, and then we can look here and say, hey, we've added 1.3 millimeters of length in our diagnostic wax-up. So the new teeth are gonna be longer than his current teeth. From the current incisal edge position up, we can take that measurement. So from the new incisal to the cervical, now we have 13 millimeters. If we wanna measure from the incisal edge position of the natural teeth to the incisal edge position current teeth, we have a measurement of 12.4 millimeters. Using these as visual reference points is nice because you can do a facial reflective flap, release that tissue and then just take a pencil and you can mark, or you can take a surgical crosscut and mark. Having 2 existing implants is also a really good reference. If you were going to use the denture, you can take a measurement from the incisal edge, and let's say the standard is 15 millimeters. You're going to measure 15 millimeters from here, which is typically about 4 millimeters, 4.5 millimeters above the cervical, and then mark there. And so we can also make a digital cut in here as a reference point for a digital bone reduction guide. And the same thing for the lower, for the MUAs. It's just that when you're reducing lower, these don't serve well as a reduction guide. So again, going back through and taking cross-cut measurements and going off existing teeth. So when we're talking about the digital treatment planning and the diagnostic photos, retracted photos are great. I really like to see that smile photo, full exaggerated smile. A lot of these patients, they don't want to smile if they have teeth that kind of look like this, but you can see here with that vertical height of where the existing implants are. That's why we chose to use these implants and incorporate these in the hybrid. So here's the retracted smile, and then we also have a full smile here, and then our full smile. I like to come in here in this edit tool, and then you can kind of resize and crop everything. So we've added, like I said previously, we've added about 1.3, 1.5 millimeters of length in the design. We wanted to show a little bit more teeth, but photos are very important in the treatment planning of these full arch cases or in any cosmetic treatment plan.